Hey, welcome to day 183, Coffee with Kenny. It's the July 4th weekend. Been an awesome week, awesome weekend. Helicopter Line Ground School sale ends tonight. And I answer a question for Mark. And pretty good question about lifting the helicopter off the ground. Happy 4th and hope your day is good. I have a question about lifting the R-22 initially off the ground into a hover. I know you have always mentioned a two-step process, which makes sense. I'm 4 hours into my PPL training and my CFI is telling me to get light on the skids and then set the helicopter back down and then make adjustment and raise the collective again to bring the helicopter level and straight to start the hover. So you don't have to make your corrections into the lift, but hold your corrections still and just lift the helicopter into the hover. I don't know if this is his way of building me up to get used to the lift and then eventually a two-step process training will come, or is this his way of teaching to get a feel for the aircraft when lifting the collective into the hover? Any advice or insight? Love the Hogs website, cannot tell you how much I've learned before starting my lessons and how all I'm seeing makes sense from your ground school. Thanks for the info, hope to be on the Wall of Fame in a couple of months as a new PPL. Awesome. Mark, back there's where the Hogs wall is going. So great question, and this is review, but you know, we all need this. Whether you're brand new or getting into it, or you're a rusty CFI, experienced helicopters or experienced helicopter pilots roll these things over from not using a good two-step process. Reading through his example there, what his CFI is doing, I haven't heard of that specific way of teaching, but I'm not going to knock it because this may very well be something that works really well. I will say, Mark, you're only at 4 hours. You're just getting started, man. So if it's working for you and it's working for your instructor, I'd say keep doing it. Back to the two-step process. The way I teach it and have taught it for years is to get the aircraft light in the skids. Once it's light and it starts to move or jiggle a little bit and you feel the nose going down, left, right, up or down, you then pause and neutralize those movements. Stop if the nose is going left, push it a little bit back to the right. If you think the nose feels low, a little bit of aft cyclic. Get everything ready to go, then step number 2, gently lift into the air. And I love teaching this, and I like telling this story because one of the instructors I flew with years ago when I first got started said, Kenny, you know, he spanked me in the office after going out and giving me like a stage check or something, right? I was flying with a younger guy, and this guy comes in and gives you the, checks you out. And to this day, I use many things that I learned from this individual, right? And I remember after I flew with him, we go back in the office and he's like, you need to learn to do this in a two-step process. And he goes, experienced helicopter pilots roll these things over from not using a good two-step process. Now you can watch YouTube videos all day on dynamic rollover, okay? It happens, it's real. People roll helicopters over all the time. One of our Hogs members rolled one over, and we actually have a video from way back. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. I'll put a link down below. Where it was in his beginning training, I think it was even solo, and he rolled it over. And he reached out, and we talked about it, and we did an actual video on this. So it happens. Nobody ever wants to see an aircraft get wrecked, but students do it, experienced pilots do it. That's why it needs to be in a two-step process. So I appreciate Mark's question. Again, I'm not going to knock this method because I haven't tried it. It's not what I teach, but if it's working for you guys, great. I love stating that there are so many ways of teaching maneuvers, okay? And one CFI can show you one way, and another CFI can show you a different way for that same maneuver, and then another third guy is going to show you something different, or girl. There's nothing wrong with different methods as long as the maneuver is safe. That goes in training, check rides, I don't care, across the board. There isn't an absolute. And there is as far as POH, regulations, those things are absolute. But when it comes to training and it comes to maneuvers, there are so many techniques out there. There are so many ways to do things. Don't be discouraged because a different instructor shows you something different. We all learn. I'm still learning every day. I'm learning from the Coffee with Kenny videos. I'm learning, when people bring up points like this, sometimes I'll see something and go, hey, I like that. I want to try that. And sometimes I'll adopt a new method 20 years into flying because I found another method and went, ooh, yeah, I like that. So On those lines, I want to mention on one of the YouTube videos the other day, a guy said, well, how do you know the difference between ground resonance and ground bounce? Okay, that's really a subject for a whole nother day, but I will answer to his question. I'll put the link in where he made the question, said, hey, about so many minutes in, I answer your question. We're going to use the Enstrom, for example. There is a difference between ground bounce and ground resonance, okay? Enstrom helicopters in general, with the system they've been using forever, they do not suffer ground resonance. The incident I was involved in was weird because it involved the new partner rotor system. So in general, they don't do it. Now with a Schweitzer, you know it's common. So there are so many helicopters out there and so many variables that I can't answer that question in just one blanket statement. I've been using that a lot lately, but whatever helicopter you're training in, if you're concerned about ground rock, ground bounce, ground resonance, this is something you need to discuss with the instructors you're working with for the specific aircraft that you're flying, because of the different styles of rotor systems, oleo struts, different aircraft. There's going to be different things to look for. I will say, as far as the ground resonance, the way to recover, I would say know what it tells you in the helicopter flying handbook, understand it, and go by that, because if anything ever happens when you're questioned and you're in front of a room full of attorneys or you're talking to the FAA, you want to know that you did things by the book, okay? Either the helicopter flying handbook, unless particular helicopter you're flying maybe have something in a POH about ground resonance, which they don't normally, but they could for any helicopter. I'm going to wrap it up because it's Sunday and I want to get out of here. Busy day on a Sunday, man, but that's okay. Coffee with Kenny every day. This is day 183. Can't thank you all enough for the past 7 years. It's been absolutely amazing. Still having a blast every single day. Keep your questions coming in. Love answering them. So many good thought processes that come up. Training, careers, check rides, all of it. All of it's fair game. Anything helicopter training related. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe to the channel and click the little bell when you do. Give us a like on this video. Click that like icon down below and go down below today to save on the last day of our July 4th sale. 33% off. There's links down below. Take advantage of that sale. Awesome. Awesome sauce. Peace out. See you in day 184.